Good morning, everybody. And dopey old me was blethering and left poor Milla waiting to tell us all about her amazing workshop that she's going to be doing at Stonehaven. Milla, I'm sorry to have kept you waiting, and thank you so much for coming on the live and for coming to the festival. How are you?
Oh, thanks. Thank you for letting me come as well. Yeah, so I'm very excited. Yes, yeah.
Yes. And listen, do you live near Stonehaven or in Stonehaven?
Oh, Nia, I live in West Hill, which is like 20 minutes drive. Yeah.
Okay, so so it's on your home turf. That's good.
Yes, definitely. So it's
Uh-huh.
very near.
So so where are you from?
I'm originally from like the north of Russia, which but I've been living here for like nearly 20 years. Yeah.
Wow, yes. So it's interesting because a lot of my friends from Latvia, Romania, Poland, they're way more, sorry, they're way more understanding about all the plants and the leaves, etc., than we Scottish people traditionally are. Would you say
Well,
that's fair? Are you
uh,
guys?
maybe, yeah, because this is something I grew up with because we always have we used to have herbs in the house all the time. Yeah, so my grand used to collect herbs. This is like one of the some activities for everybody. It's like this is the season to collect these leaves. This is the season to collect those, and then we always used to have herbs to
Yes.
keep us through the winter. Yes, so herbal teas was something I grew up with. We always, my mom used to make them all the time. So yeah.
Yes. So how long have you been up north? How long have you lived up there?
In Aberdeenshire. So I came here first in 2005. Yes, and then we moved away for 7 years. We actually used to live in Norway. And then I came
Ah,
back in 2013. Yes. So
ah.
this is home. I kind of planted my roots here. I've got a house, I've got my dog, and yes.
So tell me so you started up this business called Leaves and Snails.
Mhm.
How did you choose the name?
Um, well, leaves. First of all, leaves are the main ingredient, yeah, for the infusions that I make for
Uh-huh.
all the blends. So they kind of it's herbs. Yes, I do kind of use lots of herbs, but leaves are like the base of any infusions, and so that's why leaves, because it's all made of leaves. And
Uh-huh.
then snails is something that kind of came to me when I started kind of collecting the leaves. So I bring like lots of like bags of leaves home, and then I start processing them, and I ended up with so many snails in my kitchen. Yes. So yeah, now I kind of I'm trying to be very careful. So I actually look, try to shake because I don't want to bring them home because my husband wasn't very happy the first year I used to leave them in the garden. So it's like yes, it
And they eat
wasn't.
the vegetables.
Yes, they do, but it's all kind of part of the wild. Yeah, so
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I do kind of like the the snails as something that maybe people see it as pests, but I don't really look at them like that because it's just something that if it's good for snails, good for us. And
Yes.
yes, and also it's something that maybe we need to kind of learn to cooperate and live together and share share the leaves.
Well, exactly. I mean, I know that when year at the farm, they ate all the cabbages, and then you think, well, they've got to eat too, you know? And what surprised me was how many different kinds there were. One of the gardeners, he gathered a whole load of them up, and you're just like, wow, they all looked completely different. I don't know how many varieties there are. Do you?
No, I don't. Yeah, no, no, no. Leaves are there just because they. Oh, sorry, snails are there because they like leaves. Yeah, so I kind of
Yes.
end up with so many of them, and they look very cute. You kind of make pictures of them.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know much about snails, and I actually don't eat them because I know you can also eat garden snails.
Yeah.
That's like yeah, but I don't, and I just take them back. Now I collect them and take them back to the woods or somewhere, not in my garden.
Yeah, that's right. You don't want to actively encourage it. We put down wool, beer, all the different.
Yeah, wool. I noticed the wool actually. These the woolen pallets. Yeah, they work really well. So that's what I used last year.
So, do you find the leaves here very different from the ones that you would find in your original destination, or are they very similar, or did you have to sort of learn new ones here?
No, not really. No. Some new nose, not the leaves, like some of the wild plants here, kind of different, because I grew up like near the Arctic Circle and nothing really grows. Not much. I mean, lots of things grow, but not much. And so some leaves as wild, like rosebud willow herb is something that I started with because this is something that, where I was growing up, that's what people used to make tea. And so, because there's so many of this is how I started with rosebud willow herb. And then now I'm kind of using fruit tree leaves as well. So apple tree leaves and pear. So everything that kind of any edible bushes or trees that you have in the garden. So yeah, I use those. So yes, so some of them, like rosebud willow herb, I knew from before, and like raspberries and blackberries. Yeah, this is something that everybody knows. But things like wild garlic, for example, I haven't seen wild garlic before I came here.
Well, it's abundant this year, and so delicious.
So this is something I've learned here. So I thought, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, where I've been down in Cretan for the month of March, and there was just blankets and blankets of it. So I would just take some, and some of the fresh nettles as well, and put it into my scrambled eggs and different things. It's so nice. These basic things that are really easy to identify. But, I only started learning about foraging probably in the last 4 or 5 years. I'm also a wee bit of dyslexic. I look at things and I think I should know what that is, but I can't remember. So I always have a joke with my friend Claire, who's a medical herbalist, and she knows everything about every plant, herb, leaf, its flower. It's such a...
I follow her on Instagram, yes.
Do you? Yeah. She is the real deal. So I wish that I had... It's just you get to a certain age, you have to just put your focus on certain things. It's possible to learn everything that you want to learn. So tell me how... So do you make your own teas and sell them? Is that part of what you do?
Yes. I've started that like during the pandemic because, lots of people started during the pandemic. Yes. And it's kind of still keep it very small. I still kind of process everything in my own kitchen. And the kind of production period is about 2 to 3 months. So I start in June and then finish like around September, like that. Yes. And and then I've got something that, I sell through the year. I go to farmers markets, to like different independent small markets. Yes. And I've got a website as well. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Oh, tell me I think maybe I put your website address, but tell me again and I'll just put it in for people that are watching. What's it?
It's just Leaves and Snails, one word, Leaves and Snails, as one word. Yes, co.uk. leavesasnail.co.uk.
Well, we'll soon find out. Yeah, no, snails. So now you're going to have these teas. You're going to teach people how to make these teas. Is that right, at the festival?
Yes, I'm going to bring lots of bottles like that. So so nettle. So they kind of these are from last year's season because we don't have elderflowers yet, not yet. Yes. So I've got lots and lots of bottles with different leaves and herbs. So leaves, for example, like bilberry leaves. Yeah, can you see?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so leaves are all fermented. So
Okay.
yeah. So to use them in tea, they do need to go through fermentation process, because then they change the kind of chemical formula. They become kind of better for our stomachs, yes, for digestion.
Yes.
And and they also kind of release better chemicals after, so they kind of increase their nutritional value after fermentation as well. So see, plum tree leaves, yeah, so I do have leaves. So normally what I teach people, you start with leaves, you choose your leaves, and I've got like a table with suggestion, and also like people sometimes think, oh, I'd like to try that, or try to try, apple tree leaves in my tea, or this and this. So it's completely kind of personal. They do, all of the leaves and all of the herbs, as you know, do have medical properties, but I kind of don't mix them according to that. That's slightly different. Yes, because it's you have to follow the correct proportions, and you have to be really careful about what you mix. Yeah, because some of the herbs or some of the leaves that they can cancel the other properties. Yeah, so you have to be careful. But mine are more about like slowing down and just relaxing and enjoying the taste as well, and maybe connecting to your local environment as well. So
Yes.
you know what's in there. So something that is around you, you know what you can use in your teas. And so then it's kind of then I mix them according to the taste as well. What goes better, what tastes better. Yeah.
And that's a nice thing to do, because obviously if it tastes nice, you get that whole resonance through your body, that whole kind of like, oh, this is lovely. And also, I think Claire and I talk about this a lot, is that we have so many powerful plants and leaves and in our own country. We don't need to be bringing them in from other places. Everything that we need is around us. And I think, that's something that we're both really kind of keen on. I mean, the nettle is such a powerful plant, but we've just never been given the correct narrative around it. And I believe because they burned all the witches, that information was just literally taken out of our lives. So when I met Claire at first, and she was talking about, we stood in a bit of the forest that was like not very big, and she'd started talking about all the medicines, and it just, a light bulb came on for me about, this has always been there and I knew nothing about it. And it's just such exciting information.
Yeah, knowledge. I think, knowledge is very important, because, I do forage for some things, but I don't promote foraging because, I think you have to be very careful. And also, I think that, we have so much food in the shops that, we go and take something else, kind of.
Yeah.
I think we have to be very careful with that. Yeah. But knowledge, yes, that's something I definitely try to promote, with what I do. So just like looking around, because, it's like if you go to a party, yeah, and you walk in and you look around and you don't know the people, you feel not very comfortable. Yes. But you walk in, this person, you feel better. Yeah, you kind of feel like this is my place. And I think it's the same with like woods or like any environment. You go in, you look, okay, I know this one, I don't know this one, and you feel this connection. You feel like this is my place, and I know things around here. Yeah.
That's a good analogy, actually. I've never thought about it like that, but I'm definitely a lot more familiar with all these plants, and happily, and also you can't just go for a walk with Claire. She's in all the nooks and crannies. I always say she's got that nose like an animal, that she's like, there'll be mushrooms in there. She knows the terrain so well. It's a familiar habitat. So and it's starting to rub off in me. Obviously, I'm not never be as good as she is, but because I wouldn't put that amount of time in. But it is lovely to go into the forest and also understand what you can eat and the nutrient density of the foods, because the topsoil's not been broken down the way, well, most food that's grown in soil now is grown in substandard soil, isn't it? Unless you get it from a biodynamic or permaculture farm. So I think that's why I like the idea of these teas. There's life in them, you know. So do you dry them, or do you dry them and ferment them, or is there a combination of things going on?
Everything, yeah. So the leaves, they go through fermentation process. Most of them, I think I've got this bilberry, wild bilberry, and blackcurrant leaves. They are the only ones that I use both. You know, I either dry them fresh or I ferment them and then dry them. It is, you know, it is a very similar process to like regular black tea.
Okay.
Yeah, because I use the same technique. You know, I've done a course with the Scottish Tea Garden Company, you know, in Crete, I think in Perthshire. Yes. And, you know, it is a similar process. It's just, you know, with black tea, with regular black tea that we drink, it goes through the oxidation process. So it just takes a few hours. So it just changes, the formula, yes, as well. But fermentation is longer. And so it's like hours. So I kind of, the whole process takes about 3 days. Yeah. So I start fermenting. Again, I describe all of this in my online course, by the way.
Oh, yes, you've got an online course. Yes, you sent
Yes,
me the information.
all of this, you know, what you can collect, what you can use from your cupboard, because lots of these, you know, spices as well. I do use spices for some infusions as well. So spices, herbs, leaves, whatever you've got in your cupboard as well, you can use in your home infusions. And so fermentation, sorry, I'm talking too much again. So fermentation.
No, not at all. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's a similar process to oxidation like that the black tea goes through, but, you know, fermentation takes longer. And then, you know, I do dry them after as well. Yes. Yeah. It's a whole process. It took me like a while, nearly a year, to write all of the paperwork for the council. Because, you know, I had to, when I registered the business, you know, I had to write all of that, you know, because, you know, because the council didn't have like anything to look through. I had to create all these guidelines, myself. So it took me a while. So, and it's all actually, that's why I decided to make this course, to write the course, because, you know, I've done so much work. Like
Absolutely.
on so much paperwork, and I thought, you know what, this is something that I do in my kitchen, and, you know, it's not like a big production or anything. It's something that anybody can do. Yeah.
But I think that's what's lovely about it. Back to these little kind of cottage industries where, you know, people will know you in your community and they can come and get that stuff from you, and they don't need all the legislation, because the legislation puts a lot of people off doing what they're really good at, because it becomes prohibitive to, you know, if you've got the time to do all the stuff that they ask you to do. Bureaucracy has just destroyed creativity, if you ask me. People are bogged down with paperwork now that's completely unnecessary, that nobody ever looks at. But
yeah, I kind of had a good experience as well, because the people from the council, they were very helpful. Yes, as well.
Great.
It did take me a while, but also I kind of I thought it was good for me, because now I know so much about it.
Well, that's the other thing, isn't it? Yeah, you now understand all of that.
Yeah, so all of this, all the temperatures, what goes in where. So I had to describe all of that, and people were very helpful. So I kind of
well, that's good to hear. It's not normally what you hear, but that's lovely to hear that, because we should be helping each other to be successful, rather than putting laws and rules in place to stop people from doing stuff. It should be, right, okay, how do we circumvent this, and how do we get this product out to people, which is such a beautiful thing to do. So you're going to be doing a workshop at the festival in Stonehaven in the town hall, and it'll be for about 10 to 12 people. It'll be
Yes.
first come, first served.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, because that's what I've got. The materials, I've got limited amount of materials. Yes.
Uh-huh.
The
Yeah.
bottles with different leaves and herbs, and also teapots, because I bring teapots and teacups. That's another thing that I enjoy doing, because I get them all from the charity shops. Yeah, so they're all different. All different
Nice.
teapots. Yeah.
And do you have these teapots that have got the little filter in them?
Some of them do, some of them don't, but
Uh-huh.
I do, because leaves are quite big, so some of them don't even need a filter because they just stay.
Yes.
They
Well,
just
that's
stay
good
in
to
the
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I mean, tea's become quite a thing, isn't it? I've noticed even when I was down in Cretan and up in Skye, people quite often bring their own wee teapot now because they like to make their own little. So that's something you never saw a few years ago. So people are clearly, and I think it's really, for me anyway, it's really, I like getting things off people that make things. It's got a special, feeling to it that somebody's handmade it. I just think it's, I love that idea. So it
Yeah, and
means
it's
more to me.
something, you kind of learn things about yourself as well. You learn things about yourself, you learn things about your local environment and how you can work together, and you kind of manifest it in the tea that you make. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time and for your product. I just love the name. I was just intrigued. I
Oh,
was
thank you.
wondering why the snails in there, but now it makes perfect sense as to why the
Yeah,
snails are
no
in there.
snails are used in the
No, I know in the tea making.
yeah, it's just in the names. I do take them back to their home.
Uh-huh. Brilliant. So so I will see. Are you going to come along on the Friday? We're going to be down at Dave's at the sauna.
Oh, I'd love
From
to.
the
I love sauna. Yeah.
Aye, so from Friday at 5 o'clock, we're down there. So if you've got an instrument or a drum, bring that too, and we'll
Okay.
kick
Oh,
off.
I'll bring some salts. This is something I made after Christmas. I had a really nice freeze fir. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
the tree. Yeah, the Christmas tree. It smelled absolutely fantastic. So when I really didn't want to take it away. So it stayed for a long time, and it was so brilliant. So at the end, I took the needles, I dried them, and then I grind them and mixed them with salt.
Oh, wow.
So now I use them in the bathtub, and also they're really good for. I've sent them to my friend who have a sauna as well. Yeah, so to use them inside the sauna, so they release this beautiful.
That's a brilliant idea. A
Yeah, so
brilliant. We'll bring
I'll
them.
bring some.
That would be awesome. Okay, well, listen, I look forward to seeing you then, and thanks again. And I look forward to tasting some of your tea too. And the
Excellent.
online course, yeah, I'll put the link in for the online course as well, so that people can, if they're interested, can tune into that as well.
Okay. Yeah, thank you
Thanks
very
so
much.
much, Milla.
So
Thank
looking
you.
forward to the next weekend.
Yeah, fantastic. Bye.